Good evening, everyone. This is Muskogee Municipal Authority, November 25th, 2024. And first, I would like to come down and recognize Mitchell Dodd for his retirement from the city. As we gather to celebrate Mitchell D. Dodd's retirement, we reflect on his remarkable journey with the city of Muskogee since January 23rd, 2017. Starting in the pollution control plant division, Mitchell embraced a new challenge with enthusiasm, proving that even the most unconventional environments can become a second home. In September 2021, he transitioned to the role of environmental technician assistant under Abigail White, where his passion for the work truly flourished. Mitchell's diverse skills and jack-of-all-trades mentality have greatly contributed to our team and the community we serve. Beyond his professional accomplishments, Mitchell cherishes his family life. He and his wife, Roseanne, celebrate 43 years of marriage this December, and together they have raised 3 wonderful children, Mitchell James, April, and Wyatt. They also enjoy the joy of being grandparents to Mason, Roxy, and Lily. Mitchell, your dedication and hard work have left an indelible mark on our team and the community. We wish you all the best in this new chapter of your life, filled with love, laughter, and family adventures. Congratulations on your well-deserved retirement. Okay, next we'll have our invocation. Jamie?
Please bow. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the many blessings that you show upon us each and every day. Dear Lord, just be with us tonight as we conduct our city's business. Dear Lord, just be with us and let all that we do glorify you. We ask this all in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jamie. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now how about the Oklahoma pledge? I salute the flag of the state of Oklahoma. Its symbols of peace unite all people. Okay. Roll call.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Patrick Cale.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Here.
Jamie Stout.
Here.
Tracy Hoos.
Here.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Here.
C.B. Abel.
Here.
Melody Cranford. Here. Dan Hall.
Here.
Tom Martindale.
Here. Okay, regular agenda, item number 1.
Consider approval of MMA minutes of October 28, 2024, or take other necessary action.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Tom Martindale.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford. Yes. C.B. Abel.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Cale.
Yes. Motion passes. How about item number 2, please?
Consider approval of MMA claims for the month ending October 31, 2024, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller?
Yes, before you have the claims for the Muskogee Municipal Authority, staff recommends approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Move for approval.
One second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
C.B. Abel.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 3.
Discuss and take action to establish the 2025 meeting schedule for the Muskogee Municipal Authority.
Mr. Miller.
Yes, in your packet, you have the proposed meeting schedule for 2025. The past practice has been to hold the regular monthly meeting on the same day as the city council meeting, and that is what is reflected in your packet. We are happy to answer questions. Ms. Tracy's helped, of course, put this together for us, and we do recommend approving this.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
C.B. Abel.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Item passes. Or motion passes. Item number 4, please.
Consider approval to accept the assignment of the purchase and sale of real estate agreement between Stardust Power LLC and the City of Muskogee, authorize the sale of property to Stardust Power LLC as more particularly described below, and authorize the transfer of the sales proceeds to the City of Muskogee or take other necessary action.
Ms. Bodenhammer.
Thank you, Mayor. This is more of a housekeeping item. The contract between Stardust LLC and the City of Muskogee was originally entered into. The entity should have been the what is it, MMA? I'm sorry, the MMA. And so we're just making sure that we have this transferred so that we can title the property correctly and sign the documents. It's all for the benefit of the city, so it's starting out the same way it's supposed to and ending up in the same place it's supposed to.
He's before the vote.
Happy to answer any questions.
Well, I think we've got a citizen that would like to speak to this item. Michael Gregg. Just come up and state your name, and that's it.
Michael Gregg, here in Muskogee.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just a question on the information about Stardust. I've been looking at information in the internet. I know they just went to NASDAQ just recently from startup at $25 down to $6.88 or something like that now. And on the purchase, I guess the sale of the land, it was owned by the city. Is that correct?
We're here to hear you speak.
Okay. Will you answer my question later then?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Interested on if the city sold it or if it's sold through our real estate person. Also, have you done a long-term study on the possibility of the environment impact of this particular company? If so, please, as we discuss it later, discuss it. We can go into the next city council member to go into those answers if you want to. Also, any EPA, or how about the long-term service with the company Stardust? What if, like we had in the past issue, Fan Steel, who was a very productive business at one time, we're still dealing with EPA issues. And lithium itself is very toxic in itself. I don't really know what the company is producing. I know they're processing lithium slush, or if you want to call it that. And are they making it into batteries here, or are they making just that into a compressed part? The reason I say that is if there is a problem with it, there's obviously going to be much more issue if something is fluid than something that's solid. If they're making batteries, that's a different thing also. So I'm trying to find out more information about the company itself in terms of what we have done as a city, and when we come up and discuss it and answer, I would like to have those answers, if you would, please, either now or later at the city council, whichever you'd like to do.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, can I recommend that, I'm sure, I don't know if we have anyone here that can address those questions, but those are common questions as far as exactly what this company will and will not be, what they will and will not do, and also the property information. It may be necessary that we do some type of a community meeting to clarify as we get closer to this project coming together.
It's been a little bit since we've had discussions on it, so I think that would be a great idea.
I wonder if it might be appropriate to get these questions answered, and I'm sure we've got them recorded, we can, and answer every one of these questions and possibly put them on the website or somewhere where everybody could see
Yeah.
these questions. And then if there's particulars from those answers, if you're welcome to call me and I'll find out the particulars of it, but you've asked some very pertinent questions, some very good questions, and I'm sure that a lot of people that are here today are going, yeah, I want to know that. So we'll get to work on that immediately. I think we've got the questions on tape that you have.
I've got a few more about the city council meeting.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Mr. Mayor, I meant to put my request to speak here instead of put it under the Muskogee regular city council meeting, item 4. I'm wondering if you all would consider that we switch and address my issue under this.
We can't per ordinances.
I'm sorry.
We can't.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Okay, do we need to make a vote on these? Roll call, please.
No, we need
Oh,
a, did you make the motion?
Second.
roll call?
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes, item passes. This meeting is now adjourned. Now, we're going to go to the Muskogee City Council meeting. And Mr. Hall's here, so I'm glad to see that, although I hope you're feeling a little better.
Good.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Here.
Jamie Stout?
Here.
Tracy Hous?
Here.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Here.
C.B. Abel?
Here.
Melody Cranford?
Here.
Dan Hall?
Here.
Tom Martindale?
Here.
Okay. Approval of the minutes. Our regular session, October 28th, 2024. Or take other necessary action.
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, we have an approval and a second. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes. That item passes. Number 1, please.
Consider approval of all claims for all city departments October 19th, 2024 through November 15th, 2024, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller?
Yes, thank you. Mayor, members of the council, before you are the claims for that time period. Due to our schedule this month, we did not have a purchasing committee meeting, but I do recommend approval and would be happy to answer any questions.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Excuse me, Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes. Item number 2, please.
Hold a public hearing and consider approval of ordinance number 4245A to rezone the property located at 1314 East Muskogee from C1 Local Commercial to R1 Single Family, and if approved, authorize staff to update the official zoning map of the city or take other necessary action.
Mr. King, please. Oh,
We need to open the hearing.
okay. We're now opening this hearing.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So this is a rezone request for 1314 East Oak Muskogee. You guys might know it best as the old A-Plus Accounting Service building used to be on Oak Muskogee near Tender Touch Car Wash. This property is currently zoned C1 Local Commercial. A-Plus Accounting has moved to another location, and the new property owner would like to rezone it to R1 Single Family. The proposed use of the property will be for a single-family residence. The request does conform with the 2013 Muskogee Comprehensive Plan and Future Land Use Plan, and then all other zoning around it is also R1 single family. Just a couple of other pictures of what it looks like currently. The sign is still out there. That'll be removed. And so our recommendation and the recommendation of the Planning Commission is to approve the request, and we'll be happy to take any questions.
Move for approval.
Second.
Close the meeting first.
Yes.
Let's close this public hearing, and if there's no discussion, okay, I guess we'll take that motion in second. Roll call.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
CB Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hoos?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale?
Yes. Motion passes. Okay. Tracy McGee.
I need to read the item.
Okay, let's do the item number 3.
Discuss and consider approval of third amended ordinance number 4198A, an ordinance amending the City of Muskogee Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 74, Taxation, Article 8, Use Tax, by amending Section 74-237, Economic Development Fund, amending Section 74-237I-1, providing for severability, repealer, and setting an effective date, or take other necessary action.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and present this first. Councilor Tracy Hughes.
Actually, this was supposed to be stricken from the agenda. It's a bit premature to adjust an ordinance before we had a conversation of what we want to do exactly. So this was supposed to be stricken.
Okay, and that does make sense. Okay, that's premature for us to be discussing that right now. Tracy, you've still got, well, I don't even know if we have 5 minutes on that, do we? No?
And Mr. Hughes either.
We'll catch you next time. And Mr. Hughes, same for you. We'll catch you next time on this. Okay, sorry about that. Item number 4, please.
Consider approval of Resolution Number 3012, directing the filing and notification of the publication of Supplement Number 25 to the Muskogee City Code of Ordinances, or take other necessary action. This is just a housekeeping. We do codification twice a year. This just brings our ordinances and resolutions current into our code book through October the 21st of 2024. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Staff recommends approval.
Move for approval.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
CB Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hoos?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale?
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 5.
Consider approval of Resolution Number 3015, amending the City of Muskogee municipal budget for fiscal year 2024-2025, providing for the transfer of excess general fund revenue from fiscal year 2023-2024 into the Special Project Fund in accordance with City Code 2-552, providing for the transfer of funds from General Fund to Life and Medical Fund, providing for the increase of the sales tax capital outlay budget, providing for the increase of the 2019 street improvements budgets, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller?
Yes, thank you, and if I can ask whoever has the button, Mr. Rigney, thank you very much, I appreciate it. So you have in your packet the budget amendment. This is something we do every year at this time. Our fiscal year ends on June 30th, and we have, by state statute, 90 days till the end of September to close out that fiscal year, meaning if goods or services were purchased in the fiscal year that ends June 30th, we are able to pay those bills through September 30th. So our financial performance then can be measured after September 30th, and so what we do by ordinance is after September 30th, we calculate our revenues over expenses for that previous year. And we have a formula. We're kind of proud of it because cities all over the state have used this as an example, that we add to our reserve fund at this time every year to increase it by at least 1% until we get until we get to 30%, which is a best practice. We were below 20% this year. We are up to 22%. And the good news is our revenues over expenses last year were over $340,000. And the second bit of good news is, yes, we are above 22% compared to 21% this time last year, primarily due to FEMA reimbursements. And so I want to thank our emergency management team and our accounting team and a whole bunch of people that helped make sure that some past emergencies, we got our reimbursements. That's what that reserve fund is for. We spend it on emergencies and when those, and eventually FEMA sometimes pays us back. So this was the good news, part two. So after we address our reserve fund, we do then allocate the money to the special project fund, which is by ordinance once again. And these are the proposed expenditures based off of council recommendations, and I'll go through them. The first one is small animal pens for Hatbox. This was discussed at the council retreat, and the council advised at that time not to use tourism-related funds for that, but to use special project funds at this time of year, and so that is reflected here. We've talked about all our deferred maintenance, and this will go, the facilities maintenance money will go to help offset at least a small amount of that. And then this is something that the council has indicated they'd like to do every year if possible, which is a stipend for employees. That number represents a $500 stipend for every employee who worked the entire fiscal year that ended June 30th. We'd like to reward those employees that helped us save the money during that fiscal year and share that savings with them. And so that is, these are recommendations based off council input. Our request is, again, all the full details are in your packet, but these are the highlights. The request is for an approval tonight. That allows us to get the stipends to employees this week, which has been a priority of the council in years past, so that employees know before Black Friday, for instance, that those stipends are available. So I would be happy to answer any questions, and staff does recommend approval.
With those funds going out, and we're trying to get them out in time for Black Friday, is there any way that we can stipulate that all funds must be spent within the city limits?
I think we should repeat that. I don't know if we can actually stipulate. It does reflect our sales tax, obviously, is where this money comes from. Yes.
I just thought I'd try.
I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melanie Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale?
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 6.
Consider approval of resolution number 3016, accepting beneficial interest in the Muskogee County Public Safety Authority for and on behalf of the City of Muskogee, Oklahoma, or take other necessary action.
Thank you. This is my item. This is for us to agree to accept the interest in the Muskogee County Public Safety Authority under the new county city trust. If the sales tax increases, we'll need to have this put in place.
Yes, Mayor, if I can add to that a little bit.
Please.
So legally, in order to become a beneficiary of a trust, we have to openly in public session accept the fact that we are a beneficiary.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Move for approval.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melanie Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale?
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 7, please.
Consider approval of an honorary street sign application to rename Dennison Street from Junction Street to North 24th Street to hereby be known as Prince McJunkins III Avenue, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Rigney.
Yes, so Prince McJunkins III will be honored for his outstanding athletic achievements. McJunkins was inducted into the Muskogee Athletic Hall of Fame in 2011. He won the Missouri Valley Conference Offensive Player of the Year award in back-to-back seasons in 1981 and 1982. This honorary street sign was applied for by Friends of Prince McJunkins and sponsored by Councilman Derek Reed. I'll turn it over to Councilman Reed.
Thank you kindly. We would first say that your legacy is what lives when you have to leave this earth. And I think it is an honor that we take time out to recognize a gentleman who was gone too soon, who left us too soon, and that was Prince McJunkins III. His family's here. I wanted to recognize them, but I tell you, when I get ready to go, I hope I have friends like Odell and the brothers who want to make sure that Prince is never forgotten. So I want to first give special thanks to Brother Odell and Willie and his running buddies who have talked about this for a long time. His wife is here. Miss, I don't know her real name, but Shushu. Miss Chantel McJunkins. Her mother's here, and I think that's probably one of her sorors that is with her today as well. And once again, young people need to see, and they'll pass by that sign and they'll say, who was Prince McJunkins? And so this is our way of honoring him, to let him know that his living, his works were not in vain. So with that being said, our goal is to try to get this passed tonight so we can install this during his birthday celebration. He got a birthday coming up in December, so happy heavenly birthday coming up soon to Prince McJunkins, with the city of Muskogee honoring him with the honorary street sign. And on that note, that would be my motion at this time.
I got a comment to make. Wasn't he a big star at Wichita State? I mean, big time. I'm proud that we can put up a sign for him. He was an amazing athlete and a good man.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Oops, also there it is. Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford? Yes. C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hoos?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale?
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 8, please.
Discuss and consider approval to adopt the Muskogee Broadway District Master Plan previously adopted by Main Street Muskogee, as well as authorizing the city manager to execute a letter of support for the Oklahoma Certified Main Street Incentive Program or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller, please.
Yes, we have before you and in your packet the Broadway District Master Plan, as well as our application for the Main Street Incentive Program. And our friends from, yes.
Okay, good.
Oh, go ahead. All right.
You came prepared?
Yes, no, they're in the packets, in their book, and they're online as well. We wanted our friends from Main Street to come ahead and make a presentation, so.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and everyone watching tonight. Thank you for allowing Main Street Muskogee the opportunity to present the Broadway District Master Plan. Today, we believe this incentive will serve enhancement to our community, economic vitality as well. Before we begin, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Dominique Embry, and I am the current board president. I am joined tonight by our executive director of Main Street Muskogee, Courtney Graham. We would like to invite the public who's watching online to follow us with the master plan documents presented this evening. The information on our website, mainstreetmuskogee.com, or on our Facebook page and Instagram page. As we go into the documents, we would like to acknowledge the City of Muskogee staff members who helped us with this process: Jody King, Mark Wilkerson, and Mike Stewart. We appreciate the collaboration of working with the City of Muskogee on this master plan. Now, I would like to bring Courtney Graham out here for further discussion of the master plan.
Thank you, Dominique. So in your packet, we can skip to page 5. That's where the document goes into the background of the project for the Broadway District. The project area for the Broadway District runs along Broadway from Main Street to 5th. Other areas that are part of the Broadway District include alleys on both the north and the south of Broadway Street, adjacent side streets, and a current open lot area that has been designated as a park space to be called the Broadway Green, or as some others know it as the Hunts Green. The Planning Design Group was selected as a landscape architect team to develop the master plan for the Broadway District. PDG has previously worked on multiple projects in the city of Muskogee. One project was the Depot District, which is located just a few blocks south of the Broadway District. As we move along to page 7, you can see our identified goals for the Broadway District. These goals are to incorporate decorative overlay and streetscape design, propose suitable street trees and landscape, maintainable landscape irrigation, public murals and interactive art, district gateway features at Main Street and Broadway Street, decorative street lighting, activities for all ages, especially youth activities, to incorporate accessibility and ADA parking throughout the district, include musical elements and activities, designated areas for food trucks, multifunctional event space, and outdoor dining areas. The current Broadway District is a central part of Muskogee's identity, rich in history and potential. Our vision and efforts aim to transform this area into a thriving hub that reflects our community's values and aspirations. As we move into it, we'll go into some of the renderings of the master plan. The first one is the signature intersection at Broadway and 3rd. So you can kind of see as it has a halo in the middle of the intersection. This helps with making sure the lights stay up. It also adds a design feature at night. We'd like to propose continuing a lot of the columns that match our gateway monuments when you enter to downtown and in the Katy District and the Depot District. So you can see some of the ties with our history. You can see new landscaping, stone benches along the district as well. The next one is looking east at Broadway and 4th. This one you're seeing a bird's eye view of the streetscaping. You can see that in this particular view between 3rd and 4th, there's string lighting across the street. There's 2 lanes instead of a turn lane in the middle. Eliminating that will make bigger parking spaces, so you're not having to drive in the middle of the street, as we're seeing a lot of citizens have to do along Broadway. There'll be better designated crosswalks, new sidewalks up and down the street. In the next rendering, you can kind of see a view at eye level with protected pedestrian mid-block crosswalks, which would be in front of the Chamber's office and the green space. You can kind of see the mural along where the jewelry store is downtown. You can see our multifunctional stage, new signage, some different buildings. There's a proposed public restroom and then a storage facility, and just adding some amazing features to that empty space right now. The next one on page 14 is the new monument signage that would be at Main and Broadway, letting visitors know on Main Street that there is the Broadway District to go down further into our downtown. On page 15, you can see another signature intersection with some of the proposed features of new benches. You can see the halo again, and the different icons that say 3rd Street, just so people know that are walking where they are. On page 16, you can see the Broadway alley on the east entrance. This is behind the Roxy and Visit Muskogee. Proposing this as a pedestrian walkway so visitors can walk. We can have events out there without having to shut down streets, and have a permanent place for food trucks. We can do different holiday features, everything like that. On page 17, you have a bird's eye view of the green space, so you can really get a good look at the walking circle around, how we can have different games, adding some trees in that area. On the east side, you can see the children's area with different games. It has 2 different murals right there. And in the back, you can see the food truck area and different seating elements. On page 18, we have 4 different renderings of the lawn area, the play area, the outdoor dining and stage area, and the entrance, so you can get a better view. Page 19 is an overhead with an evening shot. You have another view of the Broadway alley food truck area. And then you'll see also the monument signs letting you know that you're entering into the alleys. So with that, we can use it to promote live, work, play, different events going on throughout the community, just to create synergy throughout town. You also see another Broadway alley intersection and streetscape on that page. Page 20 is my favorite. You can definitely see how the lighting enhances downtown and what it will look like at night. So with this feature, we really think it's going to draw people. It has elements that everyone loves to see in other communities that we can bring to Muskogee. You can really get to see the string lighting, the new lamp posts up and down the street, and how lit the lawn area will be. On page 21, PDG has recommended site furnishings for the Broadway district designed to enhance the aesthetic of the Broadway district. These selections build upon both historical and existing elements within Muskogee's downtown area. Notable areas such as the Katy district and the Depot district incorporate site furnishings and architectural features that highlight Muskogee's unique history. For instance, the existing gateway monuments emphasize Muskogee's historical ties to the railroad industry. The durability of the chosen materials was important for the city of Muskogee staff that helped us select these items. The proposed materials were chosen for their durability to minimize frequent maintenance and replacement. Incorporated within the streetscape are street trees and landscaping adjacent to the parking spaces, intersections, and crosswalks. The proposed street trees and plants are either native or adapted to Muskogee's climate and can withstand the heavy foot traffic common to downtown environments. The proposed plants are low maintenance but provide seasonal interest and color throughout the year. In that, you can see the different site furnishings. Page 23, you can see some of the brick pavers that were selected, the screening panels, street trees and landscaping, and the different trees. And then on page 27, as we move into the phased budget on page 27, you can see that we have broken down the overall project into 10 phases. The proposed phasing prioritizes the development of main gathering spaces and streetscape enhancements first. The overall project is estimated to be $11,394,884.25. Each phase ranges from $1 million to a little over $2 million. Our organization understands that the cost estimate for the Broadway district improvements is a significant challenge to our community. That is the reason why we have broken it down into the more manageable phasing projects that we can focus our efforts on for the coming years until they are complete. I want to make it clear that we are not asking for funding from the City of Muskogee tonight. We are asking that the City of Muskogee council members adopt this master plan to show their commitment to enhancing the built environment in the community. Our organization, Main Street Muskogee, is committed to making sure that this master plan is seen through and completely built in the downtown area. As many of you are probably aware of, the area known as the Broadway district has faced challenges over the years, as have many areas in our downtown. Many of the sidewalks have caused pedestrians to trip and fall. The street trees are sending roots into the sidewalks. Growing limbs that touch the buildings are dying due to disease. Our on-street planting areas have no access to irrigation and are currently being hand-watered by our organization. However, with the right strategies detailed in this master plan, we can revitalize this area to create a welcoming and dynamic environment for both residences and visitors. Our master plan outlines key priorities, including enhancing infrastructure, promoting the cultural identity of our built environment, and instilling safety and accessibility throughout the district. The Broadway district has the potential to be a bustling commercial center that attracts new businesses and tourists alike. As we move forward, we'll need your support to implement the various initiatives outlined in the master plan. We envision this as a collaborative effort involving city agencies, local businesses, and residents. Together, we can bring this vision to life. Also included in this agenda item is the Oklahoma Main Street Incentive Program. We have included documents that are available on the Department of Commerce's website on this grant program. This is a new initiative by the Oklahoma Main Street Center at the Oklahoma Department of Commerce. As a fully designated community, we are eligible to apply for the largest amount of award at a matching amount of $150,000 for an overall project amount of $300,000. For this grant, we will be applying for 7 pedestrian signalization at crosswalk, 21 6-foot benches, 12 trash receptacles, 11 bike racks, 42 3-foot round planter pots, building wall art to be located at the Broadway Green, and potting mix and self-watering inserts to go into the newly added planter pots. These are items found in phases 1 through 3 of the Broadway District Master Plan. Our matching funds will come from the City of Muskogee Foundation's Downtown Multi-Grant. These items will help our downtown community further the funds left in the Foundation's grant that Main Street Muskogee is overseeing. This grant is also a public-private partnership, or better known as a P3 project. For this grant, we have partnered with Love Bottling to be the private business to complete the partnership. We appreciate Love Bottling's commitment to bettering the community by partnering with us for this grant program.
In closing, we are excited about the future of the Broadway District and what it means for Muskogee. We believe with your support, we can make significant strides in transforming this area into a vibrant part of our community. Thank you for your time and consideration. We look forward for any questions about making the Broadway District green space.
I have a question.
Yes.
So what's the projected time frame? I see it's 10 phases. How are you projecting it?
So right now, since we have our renderings and our visions, our next steps are to go after funding for shovel-ready plans. And then after that, once we get funding for the phases 1 through 3 are probably the first ones we're going to start out with, then we can start. Our own organization is dedicated to this area. We had our transformation strategies earlier this year, where it was determined by Main Street America that our focus at Main Street Muskogee is this area for the next 3 to 5 years. It can be longer, it can be shorter, but we're expecting at least that much to get those first phases.
Thank you.
Great work, girls. Thank
Good
you so
job.
much.
I got one question. Is there a place for the public can access all this, this nice presentation?
Yes.
To see all this? Where can they access
At
this?
mainstreetmuskogee.com.
Okay, mainstreammuskogee.com.
Yep,
Thank
it's
you.
located on our homepage, and then if they want to find it on Facebook or Instagram while they're scrolling, we have links there that lead there as well.
Thank you.
Of course.
Good job.
Thank you.
We move for approval.
Beautiful.
Second it.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes. Item passes. Motion passes. Item number 9.
Receive annual report on industrial pretreatment program performance summary and take other necessary action.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Abigail Wright. I'm the environmental technician for the City of Muskogee. The City of Muskogee is required by federal regulations to implement a pretreatment program. This program regulates wastewater discharges from local industries in order to protect our wastewater treatment plant from damage. The industries are required to sample their wastewater and discharge below certain limits for metals, and the metals, some of them are arsenic, zinc, cadmium, chromium, copper, and others, oil and grease, and cyanide. And I'm here to present a review of our pretreatment year, which began November 1st, 2023, and ended October 31st, 2024. The pretreatment performance summary is included in your packet and shows all of the work done this year. So brief summary, we started out with 10 significant industrial users. We decreased to 9 due to an industry closing. One permit was closed due to that industry closing as well. The city issued 8 notices of violations for different items. Our pretreatment program also requires us to publish and report any industry and significant noncompliance for the pretreatment year with pretreatment regulations. And there were 2 industries this year that were in significant noncompliance. They were Oakley's Terminal, Muskogee, and Jack C. Montgomery Veteran Affairs Medical Center. Oakley's Terminal, Muskogee had 4 zinc violations that led to it being listed in significant noncompliance. Luckily, this didn't cause any pass-through or interference with our wastewater treatment plant. And Oakley's Terminal has since come back into compliance. Jack C. Montgomery Veterans Affairs Medical Center was listed in significant noncompliance for failing to submit 2 self-monitoring reports within 45 days of the due date. and they have since submitted the reports to the city. That's all I have. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So for the record, they're both now in compliance?
Yes.
Don't think everybody heard you.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I believe there's no action needed on this item.
That's correct.
Item number 10, please.
Consider approval to purchase a raw sewage pump station pump from Automatic Engineering in the amount of $103,872 or take other necessary action.
Mr. Rigney?
Yes, so the Ross Sewage Pump Station, or RSPS as we call it, is located across from the wastewater treatment plant by the ponds. This is the main point of collection for all 375 miles of city sewer. What this pump does is it takes all that sewer that's collected at a low point and pumps it into the plant so it can be treated. It's a rather large pump, as you can see here. And this is a budgeted item in the MMA account. We do have a pump that is working and in good condition, but we want to have redundancy in pumps that are vital to the sewage treatment system. So this pump will be a redundant pump, which means it'll be the backup to the one that we currently have. And we are getting a new plant, as you guys know, but the RSPS is staying in place and just getting rehabilitated. So this pump will be working with the new system, and it will be used for many years to come. So it's a good investment for the city here, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes, motion passes. Item number 11.
Consider approval of a purchase of a sequential batch reactor with submersible pumping equipment in the amount of $3,949,778 from Parkson, UV disinfection system in the amount of $595,800 from Trojan, and dewatering system equipment in the amount of $626,000 from GEA Westphalia, or take other necessary action.
Yes, so these are all purchases for our new wastewater treatment plant. We went through an advanced procurement process for this, and we have Keith Beatty with Olson here to explain that process and what we're purchasing here. And both of us will be happy to answer any questions at the end of his presentation.
Before we get started.
Okay, thank you. So, as Avery said, what we have done is we went out for pre-selection on this. We bid these items. There was multiple items that we went through. Part of the process of this is when we're designing the plant, there's a lot of times where we don't do pre-procurement, where we try to design around multiple systems. In this case, we felt because of the size of the site, et cetera, it'd be beneficial for us to do the pre-procurement for these items. And so I was here not too long ago on the wonderful night that we had multiple items and kind of gave you an update on the plant. In this case, basic rendering of what we're doing with the plant, but the hydraulic profile of the plant is what we've shown, what I'm showing here, and we're more than happy to go through some of this. But the three items that we're going to talk about tonight are really the three big main components to the plant. And so the SBR, the basic, I'll show a picture here in a second, but the idea of the SBR is currently the wastewater plant is a trickling filter that was built in 1950. The guys have done a great job of keeping it running the best they can. But the SBR system, which is a sequential batch reactor, total new system, it's the heart of the system, and so understanding what the manufacturer we're going to use helps us do that design for the plant. In this case, this is what it looks like. The picture on the left is what we're purchasing, and it is the first item from Parkson. Basically, what happens is the sewage flows in. We use diffusers. We bubble the system. We separate the solids from the liquid. And then it continues through the process. The picture on the right is, of course, not your plant, but
It just kind of shows the basin. These are items, they're not pretty, but it's what's necessary for the plant. As you can see on the right, nobody enjoys going to the sewer plant, but the current process that it's in, it shows that how it bubbles through. The aerobic digester is part of the SBR, is part of the parks in. Again, this is a typical cross-section for that. Happy to answer questions later and go through the process with you all. In fact, we just got done doing a training session last Thursday with the city, talking about all the systems that will be new for them. It looks the same. It's a bubbler. The idea of how this works is we're separating, again, the solids from the liquid. The next part is the UV. This is a cross-section of what we will be building. The two vertical lines that are within there is the UV system. So when parts of the year that we need to disinfect our effluent, typically, what is it right now, April through August, October-ish, we have to use disinfection. We use UV as it goes out to the river. And those are typically parts of the year where you may have recreation on the river. Part of this system, it's pretty simple. We are using a horizontal slant UV system in there that's capable. This system will be capable for the next addition too. And so as part of the design, we've taken that into account just because as the city expands the plant, everything will run through this. The dewatering cross-section, currently the plant, I'll take that back. In the past, the plant used watering, it's a centrifuge type system. Again, this is a cross-section of what we're building for the plant. This is pretty basic. As we bring sludge into it, it circulates and it pulls the solids out of the water. The water continues back in the plant. The sludge then gets removed from the basin. So the whole point is really it's the basics of the plant. It's what we've designed the plant around. And so happy to take any questions that you guys have regarding these systems.
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale?
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 12, please.
Consider a request for city matching grant funds in the amount of $20,500 to be used as a local match towards the 2022 ODOT/TAP grant for design work on the Cootie Creek Trail project as recommended by Muskogee Parks and Recreation Board, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Wilkerson.
Mayor and council members, some of you may remember that we made this application to ODOT for this TAP grant a couple of years ago, actually, and we were awarded the grant. Cootie Creek is an extension of our Centennial Trail from basically from the dog park going southeasterly to Gulick Street. We hope to either follow Cootie Creek or follow some existing utilities to do this project. We're at the point now where we're ready to enter into the design portion of that. We anticipated the design amount, our share of the design amount. These grants are 80-20, so ODOT pays 80%, we pay 20% locally. In anticipation for the design phase of this, we asked this foundation to provide, the City Muskogee Foundation, that City Council approved us to submit an application to them. They did approve us for that amount of the $55,000. ODOT has decided that there's some more design and planning work needed because of the complication of this project. Basically, we have to cross a highway, we have to cross 2 railroad tracks, there's utilities involved, so it's pretty complicated. So we want to have the best design. They approved a contract with the engineers that we selected, and it's going to cost more. So we're asking that the city provide, in our city matching grant, $20,500 more to go towards the 20% that we are responsible for in the ODOT grant. This was presented, as mentioned in the agenda item, we presented this to Park Board, and they make recommendation, staff makes recommendation for approval.
Move for approval.
Okay, well, we've got some speakers here. Mr. Doug Walton. 5 minutes.
Okay, I won't need that much, thanks. Hello, everyone. Just a couple comments, really. As someone who uses our city's trails on a regular basis, I wanted to take just a minute to suggest that our trail system is really an asset that we have in this city that's worth investing in whenever we have the means to do it. Like the many great parks that we have in Muskogee, trails provide places throughout town where families and friends can enjoy the outdoors together free of charge. And like our great award-winning parks, trails bring visitors to town from throughout the county and points well beyond. They provide members of our workforce safe and convenient paths for commuting on foot or bike, whether because they don't have other reliable transportation, or like me, would prefer to ride their bike to work when I can. Like any valuable asset, there will always be the need for ongoing upkeep. But having regularly used the trails over the last 25 years, I've seen significant improvements in recent years, such as raising the tree canopies and widening the grass strips along most of the trails, and it helps, and it's appreciated. And so I'm asking you to please approve this small request to help match the ODOT grant that the city has already received. Thank you.
Thank you. Vicki Herringshaw.
I also am a regular user of the trail, 2 to 3 times a week, and find that the trails are critical to me being able to be out and exercise. We see families riding their bikes, we see people jogging and enjoying the trails, and it's certainly an asset to the city to bring other people in, and certainly something that I enjoy so that I don't have to deal with the traffic on the streets, the people that are texting and causing accidents all over because they're not paying attention, particularly to bicycles. And so I enjoy the use of the trail, and I would like to see the city not lose the grant that they've received and have the money available to help with the design and the engineering so it can go forward. And so I just want to ask you to consider granting the request for the design and engineering. Thank you.
I love your T-shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Cale?
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 13.
Consider approval to authorize the assignment of the purchase and sale of real estate agreement for the real property, more particularly described below, between Stardust Power LLC and the City of Muskogee to the Muskogee Municipal Authority, and authorize acceptance of the transfer of the sales proceeds to the City of Muskogee, or take other necessary action.
Ms. Bodenhammer.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the companion item to the MMA item that we just read recently. It's more of a housekeeping issue so that we can make sure that we, as the city, accept the assignment and also the proceeds from the sale of the property. Happy to answer any questions.
Move for approval.
We've got a speaker here.
Okay.
Mike?
Again, thank you, Mayor and council members.
If you would, state your name for the record.
Michael Gregg, 4131 South Rob in Muskogee.
Thank you.
Just a couple more questions. I did a little research about lithium, and since it's a very toxic subject, which I already mentioned, but it's also very deadly to intestinal and neurological issues a person could have. And so one of the things I want to continue with, we talked earlier, and then again, thank you for being transparent and going forward and reaching whatever you want, a forum or whatever in the city to advise the citizens about what's going on and explaining some things. I tried to find as much information I could about Stardust, but didn't have that much. Trying to find out how they process things. That's what I mentioned earlier. I just don't know because they don't say. And one of the things I'm concerned about, again, like Fan Steel, which was a little slightly different, but the same basic problem, or could be, is how do they, or what kind of a safety system they have on exposure, as in, since the lithium is extremely explosive, what systems do they have within inside their company that they have explained to you or outside to contain any type of fire, any type of byproduct, which would be smoke in the area, and also with that, what would be the setback from EPA or some authority that has some knowledge about it, which I don't, on contaminating houses or land in that area. Also, how, and have you talked to our fire department who are specialists in putting out fires and things of that nature, but not on lithium? Water is deadly. So what would the city have to do in consideration of what the company has as safety measures, which is very important. So I'm just wanting to be sure that we follow that track and ask what do they have mainly, and knowing what lithium can do. And also, I have another question you might want to think about. There are, and as you already know, Missouri had a plant that got a fire that was lithium-based. You also know that EVs are reducing themselves because the lithium batteries, like all batteries, are inefficient when it gets cold. So there's a question mark now in the interest of EVs with a lithium-based battery source. So my next question is, they're spending a lot of money to basically bring that forth. There are already designs for batteries similar in shape and size, but they use a different chemical base. They are much as efficient, but they don't have that explosive nature, which means you have a car wreck and the fire department don't just stand back, because if it's the EV car, they won't approach it, nor will the police. So my question, again, is safety is utmost on this situation, and I don't know what they, as a company, do, because I know nothing about it, couldn't find anything in their information. But within our own self, any setback recommendation for a type of industry that has such a toxic substance, I think is really something that needs to be asked by them. And then also our own public safety people need to be involved in this because of that reason. And it's just questions. I'm always full of questions. But it's important because I love the idea of having a big corporation here, but also I want to be sure that that corporation, if it decides to leave in 10 years, what's going to happen. And we don't want to have another Fan Steel project. So I thank you for the time. Just add that to your list. The safety aspect is really important. And I really haven't seen anything on it. And the demand for batteries, for at least for cars, is going to go away because they're solid state control. There's batteries now that's going to have different chemical makeups. And EV as a whole, that most manufacturers like Ford say we're going to slow it down. Others are doing the same thing. My point is, in time, let's be sure we're making the right decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And those are all very, very good questions. Yeah.
I have a motion, I need a second.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second on this?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Hale.
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 14, please.
Consider approval to allow the city manager to negotiate and execute a consulting services agreement and business associate agreement with Insurica for the purpose of providing broker services for employee health benefits as recommended by the subcommittee of the City of Muskogee Health Committee, or take other necessary action.
Mayor, members of council, the Insurance Committee issued a request for qualifications for employee health benefit plan administration and brokerage services and received responses back from 7 qualified contractors. The committee reviewed the proposals and set up interviews with the top 2 firms. Due to unexpected conflicts, we did not actually have a quorum of the Insurance Committee. So a subcommittee interviewed the 2 firms, and then the subcommittee is the one who actually recommended Insurica. And council, or staff recommends approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Hale.
Yes. Motion passes. We now have a couple of citizens that we want to recognize to speak. You get 3 minutes. Patricia Kasica. If you would, state your name for the record, just your name.
Pat Kasica. I was involved in a legal situation. It's been a year and a half ago. This does concern the Muskogee City Council. In fact, I crisscross into every area of these entities, and along the way, there is just complete failure to protect citizens from these situations, and I'm here to talk about that. Muskogee citizens and Muskogee Creek Nation citizens are not protected by the Muskogee County Courthouse. There's 2 judges there. One granted me a PO against my neighbor who's a dangerous person. I was physically and verbally threatened 3 times by him and his partner. This man had a criminal record. He had pending charges against him, 8 charges for misconduct and also disorderly conduct. And everybody in these systems knew that. And yet they failed to protect me. In fact, I have a protective order against me now because I was told I need to show up in court, but I was never served. And so now I have this protective order against me. So I'm going to need more than 3 minutes because I really need to tell you what's happening. I have filed 6 protective orders. Nothing, they were all dismissed. Nothing came of them. I'm considered a dangerous person. I've never made a harassing phone call or a verbal threat or a physical threat to anybody. I live peaceably, I'm a good citizen, and yet I have this protective order against me for stalking, okay? And the accused has said, I'm stalking them because I know information about them. And how do I know this information? Go to the website. Anybody can Google and find out anything they want to about people. I want to know who I'm dealing with. So the Muskogee Courthouse, City Council staff, Police Department, Code Enforcement, Animal Control, and even the Creek Nation Tribal Attorney General's Office has failed to protect me as a citizen. And I'm saying this can happen to anybody. And I have called more than 60 phone calls to the police department for various violations. Code enforcement, over 55. Animal control, they have a dangerous dog. Attacked me, attacked my neighbor. And yet the judges at the tribal and the city courthouse here would not allow me to show video, They would not allow me to show photos and evidence that I had.
Thank you.
So I'm wanting to know why this is such a failure.
Thank you.
I'm going to get this protective order off of me, and some of you may not like what's going to happen. Now, not every police
Thank
is...
you. As city attorney, I have to tell you that your time is up, and at this point, you need to leave the microphone. But we appreciate your comment.
Well, you're one of the ones in the system that doesn't do anything.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So I'm going to give you a
Mr.
handout.
Charles Crawford.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, you'll need to take your seat
Can
and
you
give it to the
what?
speaker. Or I'm going to have to ask.
Everybody else.
Ma'am.
No.
Ma'am, your time is
Yeah,
up.
this is your time now.
And they got 5 minutes. That's okay. I'm done. I understand. Just exercising my First Amendment, right?
State your name for the record.
Charles Crawford. Ladies and gentlemen of the council, appreciate your time tonight. I did have some questions and concerns. I did not have a chance to read the agenda item, so I didn't get the chance to enroll and speak in this particular item. Agenda item number 8, Main Street Muskogee's proposal for the Broadway revitalization project. I was curious to know if any of the existing business and property owners along Broadway between Main and 5th, the proposed idea, were actually spoken to about their desire to have this project done, their willingness to give up some of their rights and some of their property for this project, and also what the existing business owners that think that are just right outside of this halo. What happens if you're just like a little bit outside of 5th Street, or since the project is actually being put on by Main Street Muskogee, if you happen to own a building on Main Street, why is just the area between Main and 5th on Broadway the star of the city? And why is all the funding and money going to go into just that small area and overlook every other single business owner and every other property owner within the downtown Muskogee? There are numerous conflicts of interest with some of the property owners and the board and staff of Main Street Muskogee. I would be happy to elaborate with that in private. I don't think it's something that I should do in public, and I'm going to rescind the rest of my time on that note. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Okay. Item number 15.
Consider an executive session to discuss and take possible action on the following. A, pursuant to Section 307, C11, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to confer on matters pertaining to an economic development project, including a proposal to entice a business to locate in the northwestern quadrant of the city, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session. B, pursuant to Section 307B1 Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss the appointments, compensation, and conditions of employment thereto related to municipal judge, first alternate/juvenile judge, and second alternate judge positions, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session, including but not limited to approval of employment agreements. C, pursuant to Section 307B1, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss the employment and evaluate the performance of City Manager Mike Miller, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session. D, pursuant to Section 307B1, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss the employment and evaluate the performance of City Attorney Katrina Bodenhammer, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session. E, pursuant to Section 307B1, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss the employment and evaluate the performance of City Clerk Tammy L. Tracy, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session.
Move for approval.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
Motion and a second. Roll call?
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hoos?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes. Motion passes. Okay, we're going to return to regular session. Roll call, please.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Here.
Jamie Stout?
Here.
Tracy Hoos?
Here.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Here.
C.B. Abel?
Here.
Melody Cranford?
Here.
Dan Hall?
Here.
Tom Martindale?
Here. Item number 16.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Katrina.
Thank you. Item number 15A, pursuant to Section 307C11, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, council did convene an executive session to confer on matters pertaining to an economic development project, including a proposal to entice a business to locate in the northwestern quadrant of the city, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session, and an appropriate motion would be to approve the incentive as discussed in executive session.
Move for approval.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hoos?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes, motion passes.
Item 15B, pursuant to Section 307B1 Oklahoma statutes, council, did convene an executive session to discuss the appointments, compensation, and conditions of employment related to municipal judge, first alternate/juvenile judge, and second alternate judge position. And an appropriate motion will be to approve the employment contracts, which will be made public as discussed in the executive session.
Move for approval.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hoos?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes, motion passes.
Item 15C, pursuant to 307B1 Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, council did convene an executive session to discuss the employment and evaluate the performance of city manager Mike Miller. An appropriate motion would be to authorize and approve the execution of the joint separation agreement of employment and mutual release as discussed in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hoos?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes. Motion passes.
Item 15D, pursuant to Section 307B1, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, council did convene an executive session to discuss the employment and evaluate the performance of City Attorney Katrina Bodenhamer, and there is no action required on this item. Item 15E, pursuant to Section 307B1, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, council did convene an executive session to discuss the employment and evaluate the performance of City Clerk Tammy L. Tracy, and there is no action required on this item. Item
Okay.
16,
Well, we're going to bring us out of executive session,
We're already out of executive.
are we? Well, then,
Number 16.
number 16, please.
Consider approval of the appointment of John Tyler Hammonds as municipal judge to fill an unexpired term created by the resignation of Judge Tony Bradley Smith, beginning December 1, 2024, and ending January 31, 2026, unless sooner removed for cause pursuant to Section 34-89 of the Muskogee City Code of Ordinances, or take other necessary action.
Okay, this is my item. I think we've all discussed and visited with Mr. Hammonds, and I make a motion that we accept him.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hoos?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes. Motion passes. 17.
Consider approval of the appointment of Chad Locke as juvenile/first alternate municipal judge to fill an unexpired term created by the resignation of Judge Tony Bradley Smith, beginning December 1, 2024, and ending January 31, 2026, unless sooner removed for cause pursuant to Section 34-89 of the Muskogee City Code of Ordinances, or take other necessary action.
Okay, Chad Locke's a fine attorney, and I think he's going to make a wonderful municipal judge. I move to approve it.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hoos?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes. Item passes. 18.
Consider approval of the appointment of Justin Stout as second alternate municipal and juvenile judge to fill an unexpired term created by the vacancy of that position, beginning December 1, 2024, and ending January 31, 2026, unless sooner removed for cause pursuant to Section 34-89 of the Muskogee City Code of Ordinances, or take other necessary action.
Again, another young man that'll make a fine judge. I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hoos?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes, motion passes. The city council meeting is now adjourned.
You should have one back here.
Okay, next is the Muskogee Redevelopment Authority for November 25th, 2024. Roll call, please.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Here.
Jamie Stout?
Yeah, here.
Tracy Hoos? Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Here.
C.B. Abel?
Here.
Melody Cranford?
Here.
Dan Hall?
Here.
Tom Martindale?
Here.
Okay, item number 1, please.
Consider approval of minutes of October 28th, 2024, or take other necessary action.
Move for approval?
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hoos?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes, item passes. Number 2, please.
Consider approval of Muskogee Redevelopment Authority claims for the period of October 19th, 2024 through November 15th, 2024, or take other necessary action.
Deputy Mayor.
What's that?
We've got the claims for the period of October 19th, 2024 through November 15th, 2024. I'd make a motion that we accept those.
I second it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hoos?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes. Item number 3, please.
Discuss and take action to establish the 2025 meeting schedule for the Muskogee Redevelopment Authority. I can handle this one.
Thank you.
This is just like we did for the MMA. Past practice has been to hold the meetings the night that we have city council. It's reflected in the packet what those dates are. Those were the dates that were approved for city council prior to. So I recommend approval and be happy to answer any questions.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Thank you, Tammy. Roll call.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
C.B. Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hoos?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell?
Yes. Motion passes. Item number 4.
Hold a discussion and consider approval to hire a Muskogee Redevelopment Authority employee and/or company to manage economic industrial development projects, and discuss salary benefits and any other compensation, or take other necessary action.
Councilor Hoos, I think we're going to speak first and then let those that want to come up and speak afterwards.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So this is my item. So tonight, one, we've been here for nearly 3 hours, so I'm not going to ask for any action tonight on this item. Economic development has a lot of moving parts, as you guys are aware, especially industrial economic development. In the past, a few years ago, former Councilor McGee came up with a plan with the MRA to have an employee to help head up economic development that could work directly with the 9 of us without having to worry about information being filtered or come through a certain way or anything like that, so we could have better input into those areas. It didn't work out, but the concept actually is still something I think that we ought to kind of look into. One of the things that we continue to have problems with is we feel like a constant complaint is how much communication we're getting in regards to industrial economic development, and also information coming from trust and different things like that to us directly. Currently, it comes through small meetings in a non-public forum, or it comes out that, really should come to all 9 of us where we can all hear the same thing at the same time with city staff present. So there is, to kind of end all the questions with that. One that we'll do that will help kind of streamline communication. We have a lot of great things going on right now. We have several big things that are happening right now that we need to make sure that we don't take giant steps back with the recent changes. But what I would like to do is for the MRA to possibly entertain either going through a consulting LLC. I don't think we should hire an employee that put us out there. We ended up, there's a lawsuit with that. But if you do more of a contract through to an LLC, you put a window, you put an umbrella of protection there, just like we do with other consulting firms. It's the same way, it's a professional contract. I want to make sure that we do something, though, that really enhances our support with the port and the city when it comes to industrial economic development, especially with these big projects that are on the cusp right now. I mean, there's some really big things are on the cusp. I also know there's a lot of questions within the community about, well, why do we do the port? Why do we give them $1 million a year? Well, really, we contract with the port. When we did this last time, we had a contract with the port of $480,000 a year. Now our contract with the port is $500,000 a year. They got a one-time $500,000 amount from us last year for land acquisition and everything. So it's not $1 million a year, but it is a $500,000 a year contract. One thing that I realized doing this, though, is that we've had a lot of changes last year, and just being on the council, like I said, there's a lot of moving parts. I think what would be best if we kind of go back just to do an education piece, because I felt like some of our council members weren't well equipped to answer questions from their citizens that they were called and asked about. They weren't well equipped to be able to ask the questions that they felt that needed to be asked up here tonight. So what I'm going to recommend is that we kind of go through and possibly either have with some kind of communication luncheons or whatever we may need to do to kind of rediscuss these ideas of what we can do to foster a better, more cohesive, support for our city and the port on kind of getting through these next 3 deals.
Doctor, I agree. I think we can spend a little more time on the development of this concept. While it's an old concept, we've got some fresh new ideas, and I think it would be good for us to get together a couple of times and everybody state their expectations and how this might work. Having said that, I guess we can have...
So no action is needed.
No action needed.
No action is needed tonight.
I have a couple of speakers. Michael Gregg, you'll be next. Just state your name, that's it.
Mike Gregg. I was going to ask questions, and there's more questions now. But are you seeking, and you don't have to answer me now, but are you seeking a group, or are you seeking an individual? A consulting firm or a consultant for this project? I agree with you totally. The economic development is a widespread from all types of applications and all type of businesses, so it would take not an individual. You had mentioned something like an individual in the city. That's not qualified. I don't know anybody qualified enough. An engineer might be if he was involved in some areas of that. But a consulting group would be, or an engineering firm, would be able to probably address that. I think it's a good idea. So I guess let's just wait till you get into discussion of that, and I'll have more questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Hughes. I'm sorry we couldn't speak earlier, but
It was my mistake.
that's no problem. I don't make mistakes, but I know that everybody else does.
You're the only perfect person here, so.
That's
Just got a few
allowed.
questions. I know you probably can't get answers, but just something to think about.
Yes, sir.
Do we pay a contractor to manage the economic industrial development project? If so, who and how much? When did the MRA take on economic industrial development projects? Because if I remember reading the mission statement for the port, they're responsible for recruiting industrial development for Muskogee. 3, where will the money come from to pay a salary, benefits, and other compensations? And then, when you decide to hire someone or a company, just make sure you vet the person. We want to have the right person for the right job, not some good old boy that needs a job and needs the money. So, you're using taxpayers' money, and I'm asking you that you prudently vet the person or the company that's going to do this job so our taxpayers' money is being used wisely. Thank you.
Ms. McGee? State your name, please.
Tracy McGee. I'm going to pass it right here, and then you can pass it around so that I have some time. This right here is going to give you kind of like a background as to some of the things Councilman Hu just said. My concern really was with the language that was there in the agenda that was striking. If you look in the background, if you read that, it said to separate the management industrial economic development project from retail and housing economic development. As you guys are aware, and it's been said before, when you look at the industrial side of the business, we're really dealing with a contract that you guys, with the Port of Muskogee. So don't want to mislead the public or to get us confused about industrial economic development, because that's not something that you guys do. The retail and the housing part of the economic development is something that you guys don't do either, because you guys gave that back to the city. And that's what I'm passing around, so you will know what you got. And to the new people, you may not know this. So I think it's very important that you do your research, that you vet it, that you know what's going on. Also, as we look at the economic development area, we already said the port contract is the industrial side of the business. As you use your words on the industrial side of the business, what role do the MRA really play? The MRA at this time doesn't play any role in economic development because you gave it back to the city. So unless you go back and flip it and put it back in your arena, then that's when you can talk about it. As a council person, right, administrative is done by your city manager. So once again, you're just voting on things. So that's very important as you move forward. It's already been said about the contract, and yes, I did say $1 million, but we know $500,000 plus the $500,000 for the land. I didn't realize it was a one-time deal, but you still give them quite a bit of money. They are to produce economic development, industrial jobs for the city. So if you have them as a contract, then why wouldn't you utilize it? And just to say about the port at this time, to show that you don't really need a mediator, the port's doing pretty good, right? He just said all the great things that the port's doing. We got the AI announcement that was just made. We got Bitcoin out there. We got the lithium plant that's trying to come. Matter of fact, you guys just approved property to buy them. So, you got to give the port a little, I think, a little praise to say they are trying to move in the right direction. And they're doing it without us creating another position for the money. Also wanted to say, where the money coming from, okay? And if you decide to do this, it's because it's your responsibility, and if you decide to do it, you really need to vet. You need to know what the performance history is on the person that you bring to the table. Also need to know, just do the history of the MRA so you'll know what the MRA is and how it holds into place. And then I ask you, do you know what the role of the MRA is? I think that you guys should know. Just to say that I was the author of bringing economic development up under the MRA for the purpose that he said, to give you council people an opportunity to work in your district, to bring opportunity to your district. But that's only from the retail side of the business, which we have retail attractions that you also vet out. Also your downtown that you vet out. So you give everything away. I'm just saying somebody else is doing this on your behalf. So the only thing that you really have is housing. And we know about the housing project that we just had, right? We had 40, should have been 80, now we got none. And I'm going to say this before I have 1 minute and 16 seconds left. The person that you guys are looking at, because see, the city of Muskogee is too small to have big secrets. He doesn't have experience. He sat at this economic helm as the chair, and he sat on it and he held it, and we didn't get anything. I mean, you got to know that for yourself. So when you do your history and your research, you'll find out these things. Just make the right choice for us so we can do better. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we wrap things up, all three of you speakers tonight, I will try to contact within the next couple of days and visit with you. So you three, I'll see if I can't round it up, and if we can't visit tomorrow for a little bit. Okay, meeting's over. Adjourn. I'm tired. Let's go to bed.